The most anticipated matchup of this year's first round playoffs. It's LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the surging Los Angeles Lakers coming in as the 7th seed in the grindhouse of Memphis, Tennessee to take on Ja Morant and the 2-seeded Grizzlies. First quarter, it's the King doing what he's been doing for a long time, the throwdown. But how about Jaren Jackson Jr.? He was very much so game in this one. Second quarter we go, it's LeBron James for show. There's good LeBron, here's bad LeBron. A lazy pass will lead to a Ja Morant flush. Memphis withstood good basketball from the Lakers early. They would end up with the lead as Desmond Bane knocks in the 3. Off the Austin Reaves miss. Ugly sighting here for the Lakers as AD tries to grab an offensive board. I mean, he's clearly in pain as Jaren Jackson's reaching for the ball. You can actually see AD say, "I can't move my arm." He had a stinger. If you ever had one, you know it feels like the world is ending in that moment. He'd go to the locker room early. Morant and Memphis taking advantage. Big Juice puts the Grizzlies up by 6 as we took a break. Third quarter, AD would get that feeling back in his arm. And for the Lakers, that was great news. AD comes out the locker room firing on all cylinders. Both ends of the court. It's AD being the difference maker for LA. The Lakers come back to take the lead. And then they get some much needed assistance from the young fella, Rui Reaves, with 5 second-half threes. And when he wasn't shooting, he was making plays like that, the throwdown on probably the defensive player of the year in Triple J. Hachimura had 29 points. The Lakers got the lead midway through the fourth. You saw an ugly sighting for the Lakers in the first half. Here's an ugly one for the Grizzlies in the second half. Their star, Ja Morant, attacking the rim with ferocity, lands awkwardly on both of his hands as you see AD come in there and take a charge. Ja's already dealing with some hand and wrist pain. He would leave the game and not return. LeBron and the Lakers would take advantage. It's LeBron for 3. Memphis got a little bit of fight left in him. It's Triple J. He had a phenomenal game to the tune of 31 points. But Jaren Jackson Jr. was out there by his lonesome. The Lakers use a team attack. Austin Reaves would take over late. He says, "I'm him." And for the Lakers, he was him late in game 1 as they take home court in this best-of-7 series with a 128-112 win over the Grizzlies. What up, what up, what up, everybody? Is yours truly, the one and only Mr. FERRO. If you're enjoying the great quality content, please make sure you hit the channel with a subscribe button. It's free 99 and truly the best way to help us grow and reach our goal. Ja Morant got a little bit of good news. His x-rays were negative, but be clear, his status for game 2 is not looking good. He said, "I'm in a good bit of pain. It's tough, man, especially with everything I've been through pretty much this season. My main focus was to be out there for my guys. It's another incident where that's pretty much in jeopardy." Again, for Ja Morant, most likely, listening to him, it doesn't sound like he'll be ready to go game 2. We'll see if he's able to work himself back into this series at some point. Man, Ja just plays so hard. And I do not like some of these just kind of, it just feels like these drives to the rim are just not well thought of. You know what it feels like? It feels like Ja Morant is in the backyard playing basketball with the guys, man. Like, you remember when you used to let the goal down when you were a kid? Let it down about 7-8 feet. For me, I had to let it down like 5 or 6 feet so I could be able to dunk. You know, when you let the goal down and have some fun with your guys and y'all have like dunk offs, sometimes that's what it feels like Ja Morant is doing when he's playing basketball. Sometimes I feel like he's got a Nerf goal out there and he's just hooping, throwing down ridiculous dunks with ridiculous leaps, trampoline-like efforts. He's such an unbelievable, unreal athlete. But I be looking at some of these attacks of the basketball and I be thinking, does Ja even care about making some of these dunks? Does he care about just getting the deuce? Or is it all about the flash and the attempt? I be like, yo, Ja, some of these attacks are just not smart. Now, on that specific play, to be fair, Anthony Davis did kind of come out of nowhere to set that charge, but man, I just want Ja Morant to figure out other ways to attack the rim because he's not going to last long with the way he's attacking the basketball. He lands awkwardly too many times a year. You know, one name that got brought up in one of my group chats during this game was Tony Parker. Tony Parker is a guy that definitely his style of play can help a lot of young guys out in the league today. A lot of young guys could benefit from watching how Tony Parker played the game. Now, he never could leap like Ja Morant, but he was a sensational mid-range jump shooter, and his float game was spectacular, which definitely allowed for him to last in the NBA a lot longer than some of these guys that we love today are going to last. So we'll see about Ja Morant. I'm not listening to him when he said with everything he's been through this season. Well, what does that mean? You had self-inflicted wounds. You were doing dumb stuff. You know, this is why we want Ja to grow up. I don't want to hear that mess about, yeah, this is everything I've been dealing with this season. Yeah, you don't get those type of passes in my book. Maybe some of the Grizzly fans are giving that pass. This ain't nothing but self-inflicted wounds. That's life. You know, some of the decisions that Ja Morant made, you know, you don't get a pass for that. And now with your game not being able to be available for your team the second straight postseason, this on you, young dude. You getting paid $200 million starting next year to be the star and the franchise for the Memphis Grizzlies. That, again, it's one thing to get hurt, but he's pretty much saying, yeah, I've been through a lot this year, you know, just trying to get back. It feels like it's one thing, it's another. He didn't say that, but that's what that's what he alluded to. If it ain't one thing, it's another. I'm sure you'd have heard your grandma, your mama, your dad had said that one before. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Well, we give those type of passes to people where in life things just happen that are out of their control. A family member gets cancer, somebody gets sick, you know, something happened, a car accident that was out of your control, you know, things like that in life. Injuries are things we give people passes. That's out of your control, right? A job lays you off. Oftentimes it's out of your control. Well, in this specific scenario, Ja Morant controlled his phone when he was on IG Live showing himself strapped at a strip club in Colorado. You know, Ja Morant controlled himself going to the mall, the Wolf Chase Mall, to go try to defend his mom's honor as a millionaire at Finish Line. You know, Ja Morant controlled his, getting into a fight at his house with the kids, the teenager. He controlled that setting. You know, we don't get passes for that. Hopefully Ja can make it back. As a Laker diehard, I don't want to see us win without Ja. Like, I want Ja out there. That's just me personally. We'll see if he's able to fight back. From the Lakers side of things, I do want to give a crap ton of credit to Rui Hachimura and Austin Reaves, who were both just sensational. You know, Austin Reaves got a lot of credit. I seen he was the guy that did the post-game interview right after the game there on the court. This was the game of Rui Hachimura, though. You know, Anthony Davis on defense, Rui Hachimura on offense. His 5 3-pointers in that second half was the clear difference maker. You heard Desmond Bane after the game. He said, our game plan was to leave him open. He had the game of his life. Rui making those shots was the difference. Memphis did what they wanted to do with the Lakers on defense. With Rui in the game, he just made shots. And I've been loving Rui, since the Lakers acquired him. It's one of those things with Hachimura. Rui got traded to the Lakers first. Don't forget that, right? He got traded right before the Lakers pulled off the big 3-way trade with the T-Wolves and Jazz. Rui thought he was coming into a role where he can, average 30, 35 minutes a game, be out there with AD in the closing lineups, and work himself into a $25, $30 million contract. Lakers go out, get D'Lo, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. All of a sudden, Rui is now fighting for minutes in that second, that bench rotation there. So obviously, Rui's got a lot to play for. He's a really good kid that plays very hard, and he shows you some of those efforts to the tune of 29 points, the most a guy scored off a Lakers bench in a very long time. And then Austin Reaves played closer. Austin Reaves, you grew up in that Arkansas area that's close to Memphis. He said, I'm him, and definitely played like that in closing time. Allowed AD and LeBron to take a break as he closed out that win for the Los Angeles Lakers. Austin about to get a bag this offseason as well. Lakers take game 1. I'm not going to get overly excited because, there's still work to do. We'll see the status of Ja Morant. And, Anthony Davis did have one of those weird-looking injuries where it's like all it does is remind you and trigger Laker fans. If you get too high, it could all be taken away from you just like that with a random Anthony Davis injury. But, hey, Lakers take game 1. They put it on the Grizzlies, a 15-0 run in this game.